Hey, Shalom, welcome to Rakam Makapash from Jimmy Stanley, giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Chakadash. Want to give double honors unto the elders, the apostles of GMS, and Shalom out there to the hopeful elect, preaching truth in all sincerity. All right, back again with another video. And, Trump's back in office now, you know, and everybody wants to, wants a piece of Trump, wants to do business with him, wants to do deals, invest this and do this and do that, right? Because truly America is the place to be, right? To make oneself, money, right? And it is the, top nation on the planet, right? It is the ruling nation on the planet, right? Where most of the world's wealth is, okay? So everybody wants a piece of the American pie, right? And so, you got recently Trump's declaring that he's going to invest 500 billion, right, in AI technology, right? And I was looking at gross domestic product of the different nations right now. Okay, America is at the top by far, right? China's second, all right, but places like here in the UK, like if I remember the numbers, roughly, I think the UK's gross domestic product was like 6 trillion or something like that. Something around that, maybe 6 to 8 trillion. And America's is like 27 or something like that, right? If I remember the numbers correctly, right? And America and Britain's supposed to be one of the stronger nations on the planet, the wealthier nations on the planet, right? But all up in the Eurozone, it's the same, around about 4-6 trillion. Oh no. I think Germany seems like the strongest European nation here is like 4 trillion something, right? So that must mean that Britain is like 3 trillion or something like that, right? And the rest of the European zone is kind of like that, with some weaker nations, with a little bit less, But Germany, like, it was like the strongest gross domestic product, right? Except for maybe Luxembourg or something like that. Those anomalies here, because they don't really do nothing. They just got rich people there. They don't really do nothing as a nation. They just have rich people living there. So that's but America is so far beyond all other nations, right? 500 billion is a lot here if you're only making 3 trillion, right? 6 of those would take up all your GDP, right? But for America, 500 billion is not that much in comparison, right? So everybody wants to do deals with America, make money in America, because it's just where the money's at, right? It is the chief city in the earth. It's the chief nation, the merchant city that the scripture speaks about. All right. So like I said, America is going to move forward with all this technology investments. Say AI being done here. You got Neuralink and all these different investments that are going to be bolstered up, the cryptocurrencies, the blockchain, the CBDCs. All this is going to get investment. Everyone's looking. Silicon Valley's licking their lips right now, with anticipation of what they're going to do this year, and we're eager to see it too. We want to see the progression of these technologies, man, because it fulfills prophecy. All right, and the quicker that you get on with that, the quicker we can be out of here. And bring about your own destruction. So we want to see it too. All right. So I really just wanted to get into that. Basically, how America is the chief merchant city on the earth, right? But first, let me grab some terms, right? Gross domestic product definition. Gross domestic product is the standard measure of the value added created through the production of goods and services in a country during a certain period. All right. Again, the gross domestic product is a monetary value of all finished goods and services made within a country during a specific period. I don't bother reading all of that, but yeah, you know, that's what it is basically. So if we look at well, that's a new word. Let's see here. Okay, so countries by GDP ranking 2024. Okay, which we just left that, right? So United States has the largest GDP in 2024, followed by China and Germany, Japan, and India, right? Germany is the top performer in Europe. All right. We're going to see how small that is in comparison. All right, but here, United States, the world's largest economy with a GDP of almost 29 trillion. China, the second largest economy with a GDP of around 18.5 trillion, right? So America's still far ahead, right? Germany, the third largest economy. It ain't giving no numbers though. All right. Let's click this, see what it says. We're going to show you just how much it dwarfs the rest of these nations. All right, yeah, here we go. All right, so America's at 25.43, whatever, it's slightly different. But look at the next ones, right? China, Japan, which we already said 4 trillion. Germany is just under 4 trillion, right? Top performer in Europe. United Kingdom, just less than 3 trillion. Like 3 trillion to 25 trillion is a massive difference. Like huge difference. As you know, massive big difference as Latin would say, but it's huge. Right? You can't tell any of us, you know, that teach this truth that America is not Babylon the Great. Right? It's not the ruling nation in the earth. Okay, and that your Edomites are running it. You can't tell us that, right? Because the facts is just it's there, clear to be seen. United States is the most powerful nation on the earth. It can't be disputed. Right? It's topping all things other than the good things, you know. But making money and making war, yeah, you top of those lists, man. Right? But yeah, everything else pales in comparison to you. There's no other contenders. There's no contenders. There's no contenders. All right. Babylon is that great city in the earth, that great nation. Okay, that great merchant city. All right. So we're gonna get into that, right? It's Jeremiah 51 verse 7. It says, Babylon have been a golden cup in the Lord's hand. Right? It's been exalted. Right? That made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of a wine, therefore the nations are mad, right? America's in the position to influence the whole world, right? And they do so through their media, you know, through their policies, their doctrines, their philosophies, right? They influence, encourage the whole world, you know, to become like them, right? Which is nothing but, you know, folly, right? And wickedness, right? Do I want to read all of this? No. So I just want to get that point then. So Babylon has been made a golden cup in the Lord's hand. Right? They've been appointed the rulership of the earth. Right? And as the scriptures say that the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Right? Because there is no righteous rulership on this earth. Okay, until the day Yahweh Shai comes, there is going to be no righteous rulership. So whoever is in power is wicked. It's quite simple maths. Right? It doesn't matter who's ruling the earth. Right? They're all going to be wicked. But we have currently Esau, the wicked, ruling, as is prophesied. Okay, Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth, right? So Esau is here ruling in this time, okay, as the, as America, as Europe, all these European nations or whatever. Right, Esau is the head of these nations, right? And they run the earth. Okay, they're the most powerful nation on the planet, or group of people on the planet, right? Beginning with their elites, okay, which are all Edomites, right? And it says here, Revelations 14, and there followed another angel saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city, right? America is that great city. The city is just a place made up of citizens, and America is truly great in that sense, right? Because of its population and the wealth it brings in, the power that it has. Okay, all these things are undeniable. Okay, because she made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. Right, again, I just wanted that point. Right, so we're going to read here from Revelation chapter 17. And we're going to read all of this, if not most of it, right? Start from the top. And there came one of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will shew unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. Right, these waters represents nations. The great whore represents Babylon the Great, which again in turn represents America, right? That rules over many waters. All right, this is what it's basically saying, right? With whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. Right, because they've all got dealings with America, friend or foe. They all got dealings with America. Right, because they want a piece of that pie. They want, a bit of that wealth. All right, they're all looking for it, like vultures. When Trump came back into office, people want to do all kinds of deals because they want favor from the president to do certain things. All right, so they're all lurking around. They're all even in during the elections and that, you got companies and sponsors and shit like all looking to buy their portion of control and power, essentially, to profit during his administration. They're like vultures, man. Right? Verse 3, so he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a colored beast, okay, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns, right? This represents NATO, the EU, right? Which America is the head of. That's why he sits on top, right, of this beast, right? And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet, fancy clothing, what do they call that? Decadent or lavish, dressed up real nice, because they got that money. They got that money and the means to, all the resources which they go around taking from everybody else. So they're looking good. Well, at least they were. Things are changing. All right, but anyway, the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand. All right, this golden cup is made an appearance again. Having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. Right, again, America has been exalted. Right, that's why the whore has this golden cup. It's exalted. It's above all nations. It sits upon the nations. It rules over the nations, right? And it's all dressed up, and this was America back in the day. Like I said, things are changing now, and the shameful spewing has begun, or had already begun. And the image of America is failing now. All right, but it's still the most wealthiest and most powerful nation on the planet. All right, nothing has changed that. Verse 5 says, upon her head was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great. Right? It's a mystery. Because who is it? Because it's not Babylon. It's not Babylon as in ancient Babylon. It's not these, Iraqis, because that's, where the land of Babylon, or Babylon resides today. It's with these Iraqis. There ain't no Iraqis ruling the earth. And it's not being ruled from Iraq. Very opposite, man. That place is nothing but a backwater desert. You know what I'm saying? It's just that's been through for a long time. They have no influence or power in the earth. right? They have no wealth. Okay, they're not fancy. You know, they don't dress lavishly or nothing like that. They're through, been through for a long time, right? So it's a mystery. Who is this Babylon? Who is this new Babylon? Who is the daughter of Babylon? Okay, it's that spirit, right? And America holds that spirit. Okay, they have taken on that proverbial torch. Okay, they are in that stead, and as in other ways, they represent these other kingdoms too, Egypt, and even places like Sodom, as it's also referred to, Nineveh. All these things the scripture, uses as a description of, the ruling kingdom of today, right? So you got to do the connecting the dots. Like who is this Babylon the Great? You got to connect the dots, man. And so when you know these scriptures, it's not really difficult. It's really quite obvious and quite plain, but simply, people don't want to accept it. That you so-called white people are Edomites and you are the ruling class of people over the earth, beginning with America. America is that great place. All right? I said that can't be disputed. On one hand, you're proud, like, yeah, America's the greatest nation of all time. But when we bring it out in scriptures and prophecy about its judgment, its destruction, it's like, well, no, it can't be us. It's got to be someone else. It's Arabs or something. You got 1,000 excuses for different reasons. But the truth is, man, this is you. Okay, you are Babylon the Great. All right. So again, upon her forehead was a name written: Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. Right? Because nothing but wickedness stems from America, man. It just exports wickedness, right? It increases wickedness in the earth. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Yahushua. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. And the angel asked me, wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carrieth her, which have the 7 heads and 10 horns. And the beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and go into perdition. Right, that is your end, or America's end is to go into perdition. Right, so Trump isn't going to do nothing but run that place into the ground, right? Because that's what he's meant to do. Okay, bring about its destruction. And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the earth. When behold, the beast that was and is not and yet is, right? So those that are not written in the book, they don't understand these things. They don't understand these prophecies. They don't understand, who's to fulfill them, who it's referring to, right? That's really the job of the prophets, to really break down the scriptures in its entirety. All right. And here is the mind of which have wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth. And there are 7 kings, 5 have fallen, and one is, and the other is not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space, right? And I'm not going to go into this breakdown right now, but just quickly, man, this last head, or the 7th head that contained a short space, was the British Empire, of which America came out of, right? And the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th, right? Like I said, America came out of Britain. It's like an extension of Britain. Okay, all Edomites, right? And they've become this 8th, right? So, and it's of the 7 and goeth into perdition. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings which have received no kingdom as of yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour of the beast. These have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is Lord of lords and King of kings, and they that are with him are called chosen and faithful. And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest where the whore sitteth are peoples, and multitudes, and nations, and tongues. Right, this is what it represents: nations of people. Right, America sits on these nations. That's why America's calling all the shots. That's why America's making all the threats, and people have to comply most of the time, or have to make some kind of deal or something. Because they don't want to upset America, because it's going to fuck up everybody's money. Next thing you know, America's fucking or Trump or whoever is putting sanctions on you, raising your tariffs, and just like messing with you, man, because they have so much power and influence. They're the world's reserve currency, which nations are trying to, the BRICS nations, they're trying to get away from. Right? They have a lot of power. Right? They have a lot of power, and most people are not really ready to mess around with that power. They're not in a position to. Like, we just checked it. Like, Britain, you know, you know, America's the daddy because look at the finance difference, man. The GDP difference. You guarantee, unite. Like, we're fucked right now. Britain is screwed right now, man. Our finances all over the place. We're poor as hell. Look at poor. We're meant to be a first world nation, and we're struggling. We're struggling, man. Right? You know, they want some money from Daddy America, man. You know that, right? So all these nations really want a peace. They do want to make some type of deal. You think what is it? Huawei from China, right? They got kicked out. They got kind of put back. You know, you don't think they wouldn't want to have a contract or deal with America again to have you put out on the global scale again, rather than have all these sanctions or whatever put against you and you can't proliferate your team? Of course not. They'd want to do that deal so quick, man. They'd want to get back in the picture like that. But America's like, no, fuck you. And now Huawei ain't making no 5G nothing. Well, at least not in Europe or different places or whatever. In their own country, yeah, you can make that, but your market is limited. You want to get to the American market, man. You want to get to you want to be friends with their friends, so you can access to Europe and all these different places because the market is growing. But this is what the BRICS is doing. This is why the BRICS movement is so threatening to America's hegemony, because ultimately the BRICS nations together they make up a greater populace, like numbers wise, than America and Europe. And so they have the opportunity, even though it won't be fulfilled or realized, right, to overcome that American hegemony and the influence, right, where America would be like, oh, we need to get in on that, as opposed to them needing America, But again, that's never gonna really come to realization, because this place is gonna be destroyed. There ain't gonna be no BRICS nations and overthrowing America as a global leader. It ain't happening. But this is what is going on. All right. Oh, yeah. Where was I now? Verse 16, right? And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire, right? So even America's allies at some point are going to turn their backs on America and bring about its destruction, right? For God hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of God shall be fulfilled, right? And the woman which thou sawest is that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth. Again, America is in that position of power, right? It is the exalted nation on the earth over all these other nations, right? It is America. Babylon the Great is America, right? The clues is there, and it's like I said, it's not hard to figure it out. But you press an Edomite about the scripture, that they'll point fingers at everybody else. Oh, it's China, whatever. It's the Arabs, it's the Saudis, whoever it is, or just the elites, whatever, man. Right? It's talking about the nation that ruleth over the kings of the earth, right? These nations, that great city, okay, which is America, made up of 50 states, or however many it is, 50 states, I believe, right? They're looking to make a 51st state in Canada. They're just, this is them. It can't be nobody else. It doesn't fit nobody else. Okay? America is that Babylon the Great, and is that great city. All right? It's Revelation chapter 18. I'm up on the top. And all these things I saw, and after all these things, I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. All right, this is after its destruction, right? For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her. right? Because they've all, like I said, they've all, dealing with America means there's terms and conditions, right? And if you to appear more, I don't know, likable, for lack of a better word, to America, to want to do deals with you, you got to, become a certain way. You got to do a certain thing. Or you want a loan? Guess what? We want you to promote LGBT in your nation. That's what these African nations were under, right? Having to push things that they don't believe in, right? Just to get a loan, shit like that. Or have corporations come on and build infrastructure there, or whatever the deal is. They want something in return. And like I said, their major export is war, right? And wickedness. That's their major exports, man. So if it ain't one of those, if they ain't doing one of those things, man, they ain't got no business there. All right? But they want you to commit iniquity and wickedness. All right? Bring about certain things into your nation that don't belong. But like I say, people will do anything to get a piece of that pie. Right? So all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies, right? So these nations are really being sorted out by these merchants, these, the elites of these different nations wanting to do all this business. All right? Whether it be politicians, or, whoever it is, certain businessmen, corporals, and, whoever it is, right? They wax rich through the abundance of her delicacies, man, because they're doing trade. They send their shit to them. Right? So they're being made rich off America. So they're all prepared to sleep with her as it goes. That's why she's a whore in the previous scripture, right? Because she'll sleep with anybody, And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that you be not partakers of her sins, and that you receive not of her plagues. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and God have remembered her iniquities. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works. In the cup which ye have filled to her double. Right, so recompense is coming back upon America twofold. Right, and we always go through all the wickedness that America have done in the earth, what you Edomites have done in the earth, right, and how much more severe judgment you're going to receive because of that wickedness. Right, you might not repenting, right? You don't think you've got nothing to pay for. Maybe that if you just sweep everything that you've done under the carpet, the Most High is going to sweep you under the carpet. How about that? All right. So how much she have glorified herself and lived deliciously, right? That whore, right? That exalted nation has lived deliciously, right? So much torment and sorrow give her, for she saith in her heart, I sit a queen and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is the Lord God Yahweh who judgeth her. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her, right? These merchants, and shall bewail her and lament for her, right? They're gonna cry, because like I said, their money making cash cow is destroyed, America, right? And like I said, how much is going on in America is so much more than everywhere else. Like, just look at the numbers. You can't replace America. Like, I'm not even sure. Oh yeah, probably. I'm about to say, I'm not even sure like these top 15 nations would even amount to America, but it will. Yeah, it will. Yeah, but you can't replace that market. That market, once America's off the market, bro. These other nations ain't doing shit. China maybe, but they can't make up for America. It's almost fucking half. It's almost half. And that half isn't fucking small. That half is more than like a few of these nations put together. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. Right? So they're gonna cry. They're gonna, bewail her. Right? So as the kings of the earth who committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her, for when they shall see the smoke of her burning, stand afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, right? America is known to be mighty. Spend more on their military than anybody else in the world, right? Because they got the money to. You see what I'm saying? It's so far beyond. They got the money to spend on their military like nobody else. Like if Britain, if we're making 2.6 trillion, how much money do you really think we could spend on defense? What defense? Yeah, quote unquote defense. You know, America don't do defense. Right, how much do you think we could spend on the army with 2.67 trillion? This is why those nations was in fucking debt. I mean, America's in debt too, but you can't compete. There is no way you could compete with America. Like, none of these nations can war with America. It just doesn't make any fucking sense. You know? Alright, so alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. Alright, so when those nukes are let off, right, and aimed towards America, it's only going to take 1 hour for it to be gone, to be destroyed. Right? And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore. Right? Because everybody in America is gone. Right? The merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones and of pearls and fine linen and purple and silk and scarlet and all time wood and all manner of vessels of ivory and all manner of vessels of most precious wood and of brass and iron and marble and cinnamon and odors and ointments and frankincense and wine and oil and fine flour and wheat and beasts and sheep and horses and chariots and slaves and souls of men. And the fruits that thy soul lusted after are departed from thee. All things which were dainty and goodly are departed from thee, and thou shalt find them no more at all. Right? Because America is going to be finished. The merchants of these things which were made rich by her shall stand afar off for the fear of her torment, weeping and wailing, saying, Alas, alas, that great city that was clothed in fine linen and purple and scarlet, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, for in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught. Great riches, man, because they are a rich nation. You know? They be buying all kinds of shit. Okay? And like I said, it's America by far. Okay? For in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught, and every shipmaster and all the company in ships and sailors and as many as trade by the sea stood afar off. Right? And so I wanted to mention something about that because Trump recently mentioned he wanted to take back the Panama Canal. Right? Which is a heavy trade route, an important trade route, right, for all these ships to come into America, right, to make it as rich and as profitable as it is. Because without it, this would be one expensive endeavor, man, to get goods into America and from different places, right? But yeah, this is just from ABC, right? It says Trump wants to take back the control and rename the Panama Canal. Can he actually do that? Right, so he's talking about that, but as well as a bunch of other things. But yeah, he's looking to take that back and control the shipping routes, right? Because he's complaining they're paying too much or whatever. All right. But I want to find a point where it speaks about how important it is. Right. So yeah, it says, what is the Panama Canal? The Panama Canal is a Loctite canal owned and administered by the Republic of Panama. It connects the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans through the narrow Isthmus of Panama. The length of the Panama Canal from shoreline to shoreline is 65 kilometers, and from deep water into the Atlantic shore, more specifically the Caribbean Sea, to deep water in the Pacific, about 82 kilometers. The canal, which was completed in August 1914, is one of the most strategic artificial waterways in the world, the other being the Suez Canal. Ships sailing between the east and west coast of the United States, which otherwise would be obliged to round Cape Horn in South America, shorten their voyage by about 15,000 kilometers by using the canal, right? So that's a whole traveling fuel and other expenses you ain't got to pay, by cutting that amount of distance out. It's extremely important, right? Because cost comes into everything, right? Because you're eating into profits at this point. So some things won't be viable. You can't make profit off it because it's costing too much to send in the first place, right? So it's extremely important for business, right? But Trump's complaining about it. But this route, because we mentioned the ships that come into America, right? It's a great port city, right? A lot of trade is going through here. I think there was a percentage of how much goes through it in the world, or something like that. I think it was like 40% or something like that. Pardon me. I don't know if it was a different article. I saw it in the. It must be a different article I was reading. But yeah, it's an important trade route, right? And because of all these merchants are becoming rich, right? So they say this prophecy really does pertain to America, right? So again, verse 17, for in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught, and every shipmaster and all the company in ships and sailors and as many as trade by sea stood far off, and cried when they saw the smoke of a burning, saying, what city is like unto this great city? What city? Oops, wrong one. What city is like unto that great city? There's nothing here on this planet that is like America. Nothing. And I say China comes closest, but China's not America, man. Look at it. Right? Everything else it pales in comparison. This is really pales in comparison. You know, the opportunity of that wealth making thing is just not there, right? And so these nations, man, they're Britain and that we're like poverty cases right now. We ain't doing too good, man. You know, not doing too good. Our growth is slowed. There's no growth here in this country right now. You know, so and that's just probably a similar story for a lot of these different places. But you know, nothing is like America. America is that top nation. Okay, that great merchant city. And they cast dust on their heads and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, alas, alas, that great city wherein were made rich all that had ships in the sea by reason of her costliness, for in 1 hour is she made desolate. Rejoice over her, thou heaven, and ye holy apostles and prophets, for God hath avenged you on her. And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more all. Right? So, you know, you have idiots arguing, oh yeah, but America's not a city. Well, no, it's Babylon. But it's still referencing Babylon as a city. Because like I said, it's just a place or a nation or whatever made up of people, citizens. That's where we get the term city from citizens, right? And it's just a place of a load of people. That's what it is. You man got American citizenship or US citizenship or whatever it's called, right? You man got all that. So it's just one big fucking city. That's what America is, essentially. You know, with all this wealth and power. Okay, so it's that great city, right? So thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all. Shall be found no more at all. And the voice of harpers and musicians and of pipers and trumpeters shall be heard no more in thee, and no craftsman or whatsoever craft he be shall be found any more in thee. And the sound of a millstone shall be heard no more in thee. And the light of a candle shall shine no more all in thee, and the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee. For thy merchants were the great men of the earth, the rich, the powerful, the wealthy. And you got what's his name? Larry Fink, BlackRock. You know, one of those powerful people on the earth. And he ain't royalty. You know what I mean? He's not like that. You know, but he's one of those dudes, man, because he only sitting on a lot of fucking money, a lot of investments and funds and shit. You know, these are rich men in the earth. Bezos, fucking Musk, all these dudes, man. They're just, you know, they're caking it right now. But even though they're rich like that, right? They're not on the level of the elite, right? They're still the puppets. They're still the pawns on the chessboard for the elites. You know, which is who belong to these rich banking elite families. You know, this is for thy merchants were the great men of the earth, for by thy sorceries were all nations deceived. And in her was found the blood of of prophets and of saints and of all them that were slain upon the earth. Okay. Let me go. pardon me. This is Ezekiel 28 verse 5. So, and by thy great wisdom and by thy traffic, right? Word traffic is like the business, right? By thy great wisdom and by thy traffic hast thou increased thy riches, right? And thy heart is lifted up because of thy riches. Okay? Because you've been made rich upon the earth, right? Therefore thus saith the Lord God Yahweh, because thou hast set thy heart as the heart of God, behold, therefore bring strangers upon thee, tell what of the nations, and they shall draw their swords against thy beauty of thy wisdom, and they shall defile thy brightness. All right, and that's why there's a whole bunch of tensions in the earth right now, and the World War III is being built up, right? And you're gonna have nations come up against you, right? And these small actors are gonna play their part in bringing about that war, right? But they, people don't like how you do things, America, right? They don't like how you do things, man, because you're just a big bully, right? Because like I said, you got the wealth and power, and the military, you got all of that going for you, right? And so you just bully your way into what you want, and you don't really give a shit about other nations, So they will defile thy brightness. It said, they shall bring thee down to the pit, and thou shalt die the death of them that are slain in the midst of the seas. Will thou yet say before him that slayeth thee, I am a god? But thou shalt be a man, and no god in the hand of him that slayeth thee. Thou shalt die the death of the uncircumcised by the hands of strangers, for I have spoken it, saith the Lord. Right, Lord Yahweh. So, like I said, you've been at the top of your game when it comes to business and making wealth. That's you. I want to close out with this. Isaiah 47 verse 1 says, come down, sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Right? Sit on the ground, there is no throne. O daughter of the Chaldeans, thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Right? Take the millstones and grind mill, uncover thy locks and make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen, right? Because you're just a whore. Okay, that full of wickedness, right? You're the harlot. I will take vengeance and I will not meet thee as a man. So when Yahweh comes, he's coming with his army, his entourage, right? The angels, right, to come and destroy you. Right? He's not coming back as a weak, feeble person, right? He's coming back in his power. Okay. As for our Redeemer, the Lord of hosts is his name, the Holy One of Israel. Sit thou silent and get thee into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called the Lady of Kingdoms, the head kingdom. The beauty of kingdoms. Okay? That's what the whore represents on the beast. It's the Lady of Kingdoms, right? I was wroth with my people, I have polluted my inheritance and given them into thy hand. Thou didst shew them no mercy upon the ancient, as thou very heavily laid thy yoke. And thou saidest, I shall be a lady forever, so that thou didst not lay these things to thy heart, neither didst remember the latter end of it. Therefore hear now this, that thou art given to pleasures, that dwellest carelessly, that sayest in thy heart, I am, and none else beside me. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. Right? You don't think nothing's going to happen to you. Nothing could happen to you, being America, being the mightiest, being the wealthy. You don't think nothing could happen to you. Right? But these two things shall come to thee in a moment, in one day, the loss of children and widowhood, and they shall come upon thee in their perfection for the multitude of thy sorceries and for the great abundance of thy enchantments. For thou hast trusted in thy wickedness, thou hast said, none seeth me. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge have perverted thee, and thou hast said in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. Right? Because when you look at it, really no one, like I said, there's no one sitting beside you. Right? You look down on these nations, man, from a great height. Because that's where you are. You're in a great height above these other nations. Therefore shall evil come upon thee, thou shalt not know from whence it riseth. So it's going to come out of the blue. Right? You're not going to go from, like, yeah, America's weakening domestically. We can see that. The world can see it. But militarily, like, they're still a force to be reckoned with. Right? And no one's brave enough to really go take a war to America on their home soil. That is out of the question. That's suicidal, right? Man, I might drop 1-2 nukes on you, man, I'll be finished. for most nations, right? But it's unthinkable that someone's could go to America and to destroy them. Right? That's it's not perceivable on a carnal level, right? But the Most High is orchestrating the fact that, look, man, your destruction is going to come out of nowhere. You're not even going to be ready for it. You're not going to be expecting it. It's not even going to like that you're in a position of losing or nothing like that. You're just going to get done in out of nowhere. RKO, you know. So therefore shall evil come upon thee, thou shalt not know from whence it riseth, and mischief shall fall upon thee, thou shalt not be able to put it off, right? And desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know. Pardon me. Stand now with thy enchantments and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast laboured from thy youth. If so be thou shalt be able to profit, if so be thou mayest prevail. Thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsels. Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, the monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from these things that shall come upon thee. Behold, they shall be as stubble. The fire shall burn them, and they should not deliver themselves from the power of the flame. There shall not be a coal to warm at, nor a fire to sit before it. Thus shall they be unto thee with whom thou hast laboured, even thy merchants. Right, the merchants will be mentioned again. Even thy merchants from thy youth, they shall wander everyone to his quarter, none shall save thee. Right? Because they ain't gonna want America to end. Just like you people don't want America to end, man, but it's gonna end. Right? It's gonna end. And the world as you know it is gonna end at the very same time. Right? It's gonna be a new world at that point. A real one. Right? Because our Lord Yahweh Shai is gonna be here to establish his kingdom. All right. But like I said, all the signs point to America. It couldn't possibly be anybody else. Right? It's not possible. Right? And so America is going to fulfill their role as Babylon the Great, that's in the scriptures, right, into its destruction. All right. So like I said, without a doubt, America is that great merchant city that is prophesied in the scriptures, man. So, I'm going to end it there. I know this is a bit edifying, and I'll catch you brothers and sisters on the next video. So, till next time, I say shalom.